Alright, there's going to be a little step on how to clean your XD45 compact. Most of the XD models, at least California related, they all pretty much break down the same and they're cleaned the same. So I'm going to go through the process here. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to line up all my tools, my cleaner supplies. I'm going to go ahead and add a few more Q-tips here. I know it's frowned upon, but it's what I like to use. So I have my oils here, my cleaner here, a couple clean towels, my brush, a little inside the barrel cleaner, toothbrush, and my Q-tips. There's my firearm there. I'm going to start off by saying I don't have the most sophisticated camera setup here, so bear with me. Now the first thing I'm going to want to do is you're going to want to clear your gun. Safety is a really big thing, especially when you're cleaning firearms. So first thing I'm going to do, I like to leave my magazine on the inside, and there's a reason for it. I'm going to take my rail, I'm going to slide it back. Now, when there's no ammo inside your gun, your rail's going to stay slid back. So it allows me to look inside here. There's no bullets inside there. There is no rounds inside the barrel itself. So we're nice and inspected. So now I'm going to go ahead and take the magazine out. I'm going to set it to the side. You can look down into the hole now. It's nice and empty. Now with XDs, at least California models, you're going to have a little switch right here. You're going to take that switch. While it's slid back like this, you're going to just push this lever up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to release the slide, pull the trigger, and it's going to allow me to slide my rail straight off. So I'm going to set the pieces here to the side. I'm going to take my guide rod, recoil spring assembly. I'm going to pull that out. I'm going to take my barrel, take this out. I'm going to set all my pieces to the side here. Now, what I like to do is I'll just take a dry toothbrush. I like to just kind of scrape out some of the excess debris. There's a little slide or barrel hole, recoil spring assembly hole. Just like a nice little quick brush down. I'm going to set that off to the side now. I'm going to take the bottom portion of the gun. I'm going to do the same thing. Now what I like to do is I'll take this slide, or this little switch, I'll just put it down for the cleaning purpose. You just want to make sure to flip that back up when you're going to assemble the gun back together. Just doing the same thing, brushing out some of the excess debris. I'm going to set that off to the side. A recoil spring assembly. Don't really spray it with anything. It's just a spring. You can oil it if you prefer, but I found that it makes the debris kind of stick to it. So now I'm just going to use my fingernail and I'm going to just rotate the recoil spring assembly going down the spring with my fingernail pushed in. Do the same thing on the bottom. Okay, once I get that done, wipe around the outside, go over the top of the spring here. Now we're done there. I'm going to take that piece, I'm going to set it off to the side. Now what I'll do, I haven't used my cleaners yet, so I'm just going to use my brush here, dry, and bring it through a couple of times, 3 or 4 times. Okay, I'm going to set that off to the side. Now we're done with that, with the dry portion. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and use my cleaner. I'm going to do a spray on the outside here. Now I'm going to just use my finger, cover the hole. I'm going to spray inside the barrel, both sides. I'm going to set it off to the side. Do the same thing with the whole slide here. Just spraying inside the little slide rail here. Do a little on the outside. Maybe a little spray in the back here. I'm going to set that off to the side. I'm going to repeat the step here with the bottom half of the gun here. Set that off to the side. Now back in the order. Take the little brush first. I'm going to go ahead and just with the cleaner inside. Use the brush again. Okay, now I'll just take a clean towel and wipe around the outside of the gun. Use my fingernail for the tip here and see where it kind of collects debris. Wipe it down real good. Get the reachable spots. Use your fingernail. These guns are real durable. You don't really have to worry about breaking things. I mean, don't try to break it, but for the most part, you're just cleaning up the area. These are very well built. I'm a big fan of both Glocks and XDs. They're pretty much my handgun collection. Okay, now that I'm done with that, what I'll do, knowing it's going to be dirty anyway, I'm going to go ahead and just take the towels. This is a two towel setup. You'll find your own method here, but I'm going to use this tool here. I'm going to shove the towel inside the hole here. Now what I'll do, I'm going to do my first pass through the barrel now that the cleaner's in there, and I like to twist it. Just kind of assures me that I'm picking up the debris. Now if you can see the towel, it's pretty dirty there. Lift it up, do the same thing going out. Now instead of taking it all the way out, I'll just kind of go up and down. Just do kind of a clear wiping here. Okay, almost done with that towel. Just got a little bit more on the outside here. And we're done there with the cleaning part. So now I'm going to take a clean towel. I'm going to put it through this hole once again. These are great little tools. I'm going to take oil now and I'm just going to dab it on, give a little line on each side of, call it my wings here. Put it inside the barrel. Kind of same step. I'm going to wipe it and just go through in a circle. Just assures me that there's oil being distributed evenly. And go back down, back up, and now just final pass coming down. Now that's plenty of oil still on this towel, so I'm going to just use that to wipe down the outside of the barrel here. Use my fingernail on the part here, or on the tip. Your barrel inside your firearm, it moves around a lot, so I'm okay to oil all of it as I can here. Just not utilizing way too much, just enough to where things aren't going to be real rough on your gun when it's working. Okay, that piece is done, so I'm going to go ahead and set that off to the side here. Now with another clean towel, I'm going to clean the inside of my slide. I like to use my fingernail inside the grooves here. Of course with the towel on the other side. I'll wipe down the inside of the slide. No real fancy way about it. You're just making sure to get the cleaner wiped down and in return cleaning the portions of your slide here. Again, in little crack areas, I'm going to go ahead and use my fingernail again, like in this portion here, right next to the fire pin. Get each side here. Again, really no method to this. I'm just assuring that the portions are clean and I'm wiping away the excess cleaner. Okay, once I'm done with that, A lot of people frown on it. I find it much easier than trying to utilize my big fingers. So I use a Q-tip just to get inside the little slide rails. A little bit more of the debris that I wasn't able to collect. Okay, get little portions that I may have failed to miss with my fingers. Inside the little barrel hole here again. Guide rod spring assembly portion. Or recoil spring assembly, whichever way you want to call it. Okay, once I'm done with that, I'm going to go ahead and take a fresh Q-tip right here. I'm going to dab it with some oil. Now I'm going to go ahead and go back through the little rail slides here. That little bit of oil. I like to pass through each side. Make sure the oil is nice and even. Now, a part where your barrel is always sliding in and out, doesn't hurt to oil that section there. I like to oil the spot here where my recoil spring assembly is placed. And that's it for that side. Last but not least, the bottom of the gun. Once again, you're just going to get a nice little clean towel again. And you're just wiping down the areas that you sprayed. No real method to it. You're going to know your firearm, and you're going to know how to use your fingernails and when to utilize them and when to not. Just reaching and go up in here into the magazine placement area. Wipe around with my finger. Again, these are very durable guns. You don't have to worry about damaging something with your finger. I mean, you don't need to try to rough it up, but a typical little wipe down, you're going to be okay. Now from here, once again, I'm going to take a clean Q-tip, and I'm just going to put it in the areas that I wasn't able to reach with my fingers. One thing, if you do choose to use your Q-tip, you just want to make sure some of the fabric or whatnot from your Q-tip, you don't want it to be caught on anything and left inside your firearm. Okay, once I'm done with that, I'm going to go ahead and take one more clean Q-tip, and I'm just going to dab a little oil on here, on the tip. It's going to go over the areas where the slide rail is going to be being slid. I usually do a little top portion here, and we're good there. So, I'm going to take the barrel, put it back into the slide. I'm going to take my recoil spring, push it into here. Just going to want to make sure that it gets onto the lip here, and push it in. You're going to have to push it in a little bit of force just till it slides down into the hole, and you're going to know it's going to be placed right because you can hang it upside down and you're good. So now remember that little lever. You're going to want to take this, slide it back up. Now you can assemble back your firearm. You're just going to take it, slide it back. What I like to do, slide it back, use my finger, push this up, it leaves the rail back. I take this little switch lever, put it back down, release the slide back down, pull the trigger. Now it's put back together. So now, if you can see, I still have a little bit of cleaner and whatnot. I'm going to take another clean towel, wipe down the outside here. entire outside of the firearm. Now this is just personal preference, but I like to oil a little bit on the outside, so I'm going to put a few dabs on each side. Take a clean towel, and you're just going to wipe it in. No real method to it, you're just spreading the oil evenly and having just a very thin layer. Now one thing, once you oil it, I found this out. So after you oil, if you choose to oil the outside of your gun, I don't like to put it in a holster or lay it down on its side somewhere. I usually just set it up for a little bit of time, just to let it kind of dry off, let the oil sink in. I'm just going to set it on its top side right there, and we're done. It's nice and clean. Your magazines and whatnot, I usually just wipe down the outside of the magazines, and after each cleaning set, or I'm sorry, after each shooting session, I like to keep my guns clean. Once in a while, I'll take the whole magazine apart and clean all the insides, replace the springs if needed, but I'm not quite at that stage yet with this firearm. So that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed.